welcome to the Film Garage 208 podcast. My name is Sarah, and this is Daniel.
Hello.
Hello. Today we have with us Jessie and Nyles Johnson.
Hello.
Hello. They are the owners of a live cycle here in Idaho Falls.
Yes, yeah. So we own a rhythm-based cycling. So there's usually traditional cycling like that you see at like corporate gyms or regular gyms, and it's very performance-based. So you're thinking like sprints and climbs, you're sitting in the saddle, jamming out to usually like your grandma's music or something like that. No offense, but kind of true. So then we have a rhythm-based cycle. So you're pedaling to the beat of the music the entire class while doing moves. So like it's very much more upscale. I've heard it's a lot more advanced, but also in a really fun, good way. Like the reviews we've gotten is it's just so much more fun than traditional cycle. And then we also offer rhythm-based bar classes, rhythm-based strength training, but our whole basis around it is the cycling. So
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. And so how long have you been doing this at this location?
How long has it been? What, like 2 months?
2 months, yeah.
Well,
Very
fresh.
fresh.
Yeah, very fresh. Well, it used to be called Trident Athletics. And when we moved back to Idaho in January, I was 20 weeks pregnant. And they kind of were like, hey, we need instructors. This is like, I see you do this in California. I want to bring it here. Can you kind of help me kind of deal? And we worked on it and trained. And I taught at Trident through my whole pregnancy till I was about 35 weeks pregnant. And then when I went on maternity leave, she came to me about a week. I think I was still in diapers. I was literally like a week out of the hospital. And she's like, I need to sell. Like, I want to sell. She had another opportunity come up. And she's like, I want to offer it to you. I'm like, well, let me get out of diapers first. And then she's like, I need to know in 2 weeks.
Riding on a little bike seat is not what I want to do right now.
Literally, I'm like, do you know what happened to me down there? Anyway, so she's like, you kind of have 2 weeks, or otherwise I'm going to sell it to someone else.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, hell no, I brought it here,
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way I'm going to let someone else.
She found you to bring you here?
Yeah, well, so we
Okay.
were about to move back because I was pregnant.
To here?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was like,
From California, right?
Yes. And I was like, I don't want to give birth in California for several reasons. And we were originally from here. So it just kind of worked out timing-wise. She was literally like opening, and we just happened to be moving back in the next couple of weeks.
But last summer when we had originally thought about moving back, it was September or something like that, where Jessie was like, I want to open a studio. Like, let's go to Idaho Falls, open a studio. And then we were like, oh no, let's just stay in California for another second. And then it just felt right to move back. And then she opened up her studio right as Jessie was moving back. And so it kind of just fell into place. At first we were a little bitter. We were like, oh.
She had just opened it up?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like the same week we were about to like move back.
So it was still very new once you had gotten it.
This was Trident at that point? No.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, it's true. Yeah, I've wanted to open a fitness studio. I taught in Idaho Falls before I moved to California. I taught high fitness and a couple other things. And yeah, I literally, before we left to California, I was like, I want to open a group fitness studio. But it just never felt right. Like I was like, there's so much high fitness, so much like, this sounds bad, but like your typical Mormon like fitness formats. And it sounds bad, but it's all true. So I was just like, there's just not a lot of profit in there. It's not something that like ignites me. And then we moved to California, and that's when it all just clicked, honestly.
So what got you to California?
Because of the style or the people, or what do you think it was?
Well, we went to California to sell solar for him.
Okay.
And then I just don't sit still very long ever. I'm not very good at it. And I feel like probably my strongest suit is I will make anything work in any place. Like if I'm going to do something, it just happens. I don't really know how to explain it. It's been like my whole life. If I want something, it's just going to happen. I don't know how.
Comes to her.
No.
Falls into place.
Yeah.
I don't know. But so when we moved to California, I was like, I have to teach fitness. And I am not from there. I know no one I knew quite literally no one. And I just started a random group fitness class at a park. And it actually kind of blew up. And then I discovered,
What kind of stuff were you doing?
Yeah.
I was just doing high fitness and like bar, kind of just the usual stuff I was doing in Idaho. And then I was like, I kind of want like a gym so I can get to know the community here. And I found a place called Ride 209, and they are a cycling studio. And I just messaged them one day and I was like, can I work for you? Like, I teach bar. Like, I'd really love to work for you. And they actually told me no. And so then I went and took a class because I was ticked. Because I was like, did she just tell me no?
And then you went and took a class from her?
Yeah. So then I went and I took a bar class and I did it again. I was like, if you need an instructor, like, I teach bar, blah, blah, blah. And she brushed me off again. And then I was like, okay, maybe it's not meant to be. And I was like, no, actually, screw it. I want this. So then a month later, I messaged her again. And I was like, let me have an audition. Like, that's all I want. Just give me an audition. And she was like, all right. So she brought me in and she was like, that was the funnest audition I've like ever been. And I was hired on the spot, which is so funny because I was like,
after
you
all
turned
of
me
that.
down for months.
So what did that look like? Did you just teach a class or?
Yeah, you kind of just do like a demo class, like teach a few songs. And I originally thought cycling sucked because only cycling I knew was from like the gyms I'd worked at here, like your performance. And they kind of were like, you need to take a cycling class. I'm like, I would rather die, honestly. Like, I know cycle. No, I'm not doing it. And then they finally got me in there and I realized it was completely different than anything I had ever like seen before. And I was like, oh, this shit's dope. Like, this is fun, you know? Mm-hmm. And I literally just fell in love. They talked me into the training and it was just kind of, I mean, there's a lot that happened between all of that and to where we are now, but it was just like it was such a God thing. I don't know how to explain it. It just like all fell so into place and yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
Wow.
How long did that all take? Like, how long was that progression from when you were like, I need to do this and hadn't had any of the fitness experience to when you were teaching classes?
Like...
Well, it all started when we moved down to St. George. She wasn't really into fitness until that. But then she had just had her first baby. She was having like some postpartum depression and stuff and trying to lose like all that baby weight, and she just wasn't confident. And so she's like, okay, I'm going to go start working out. She found these group classes down there. I think started out as high fitness or whatever. Yeah. And then it was just a big community down there, and it just made her super happy. And so then she's just like, okay, I want to do this. Like, she's like, I love this. I feel like I can do this. I like working out. I think I can go get certified and start teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the class I walked into was just like for the first time, like I don't even remember anything about the class, but like I always tell people like you always remember how you feel leaving a class. Like you don't remember anything you did. You don't remember any of the moves, but they just like, I was about 9 months postpartum. And I was like, holy cow, like they talked to me, they hugged me. And I was like, someone's actually seeing me for the first time outside of like being a mom and like a wife. Cause that was my whole identity for that whole like 9 months. And I like literally lost myself. I felt so lost. Yeah. And so it was so cool walking into a room where it was like, I don't know, I just mattered. It
was for you.
Because I was Jessie. Yeah. Not cause I was like Fox's mom or like his wife. It was like I was good enough how I was. And from there I was like, I'm addicted to this. Like how can I do this for other people? Like I just wanted to be around it all the time.
That's so cool.
That's cool.
So you had that experience, kick off in St. George.
Yeah.
And then you ended up in California.
So, yeah. So then we we originally moved down there for me. Me and my dad were starting to build some houses together. We kind of had a falling out. And so it was pretty bad. So then the last thing that we knew to do was move back to Idaho. That's all we really knew. We needed some income. We needed something. And so then we moved back here, and Jessie's like, gosh dang, I missed that. Like she didn't have that community of people around her. The experience like 2-3 times a week, just being around all her friends, hanging out all the time, you know? And so I think that's actually when she finally got certified is when we actually moved back to Idaho Falls. I remember her practicing in her parents' basement. She's like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, you got this.
I love that. So
Were you doing it in front of a mirror?
No, I was recording myself, which is worse. Oh my gosh. I was like watching it back. I'm like, oh. And you have to like, you get certified and then you have to send in videos.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what is this process?
Well, so my first one was High Fitness, and
Okay.
that one you take like an online certification, and then you have to send in videos, and they have to pass you, which is like, I just watching yourself on a video, you're like, this is awful.
Yeah.
But here we go. Send
Yeah.
it off to a bunch of strangers.
And you have to be all hype, and you're the only
Yeah,
person
you're
that's
literally
been
the
they're like
room.
teach to
Man.
a crowd, and I'm like, I had my brother's like 13. I'm like, can you just sit there?
You just have
please?"
Niall sitting there in
Yeah.
front of you.
They're just like,
It's like I'm almost more uncomfortable having the
Yeah.
one person watching.
Yeah.
it was so uncomfortable. And so, but eventually I did pass, and then taught that for a while. Got certified in bar.
Can
and
we
then,
see those videos at some point?
Absolutely not. I think I burned
I
them.
really want to see them.
You gotta check out her
They
YouTube.
exist. I even feel cringy filming myself now, like 3 years later. I like set up my camera and I'm like, oh, I have to watch it back. I'm like, just post it. Just post it. It's fine. Just don't think about it. Just post. It's awful.
Yeah.
We were just joking with someone on the last podcast about how the first 3 we recorded are deleted and no one will ever see them because they are just so bad. So bad. And,
Yeah, because you have to listen to yourself.
Mhm.
And that in itself is just
Yeah.
awful.
And
You
when
can
you
have the
don't know what
best
to
voice
say.
in the world, and it sucks. It just sucks.
Yeah, it's the problem I have. It's hard.
Exactly.
You're like, does my mind really work like that? Oh my
Does that
God.
one sound like to everyone? My God.
Amen,
I'm gonna
brother.
stop talking now.
Literally, you're like, podcast is canceled.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to when you started your classes in the park. So was that your first you doing classes on your own, or were you doing classes at the other studios?
Yeah, so when I moved to Idaho Falls and got certified, I was going to Gold's Gym at the time.
Okay.
And I met a gal, her name's Brittany. She's amazing. She actually moved to St. George because she hates me, and just kidding. She's my best
Shout
friend.
out to the Shumways.
Shout out to the Gemways. No, she taught at Gold's, and I was like, hey, I really want to start teaching classes. No gyms were really like hiring at that point. So I was like, I'll just start something on my own. But I was like, do you want to come do it with me? Like, I love your vibe. You're so fun. Like, let's team teach and start like a class together.
Yeah.
And she was like, dude, yeah, let's do it. And we just like, I don't even know how to explain it, but we just like blossomed together.
Yeah.
Like, we were with each other all day, every day. Our husbands loved it.
Yeah, she never came home.
we filmed the stupidest reels all the time. They were so dumb, but so fun. We kind of just built like a really cool community. And yeah, that's kind of where it all blew up. I was teaching a lot. I was teaching probably 5 to 6 times a week. Like,
Wow.
I was grinding.
Where was this at?
Here in Idaho Falls, just we rented out a dance studio
Oh, okay.
and just did it on like Saturdays.
Cool.
And then eventually got hired at Gold's Gym and Bodify and kind of like grew from there. But
Yeah.
I just hustled hard because
Yeah.
I wanted it so bad.
Mhm.
And when I do something, I'm like, I just want to be like the best.
And at this point, she was just teaching because she loved to teach. Like,
I was
she made
I was
no
making
money. I'm pretty sure
shit.
most
Yeah.
times we were in the negative and we were paying for her just to teach. I'm like, oh my heck, what are you doing?
Yeah, he's like, dude.
This is
I'm
just
like,
becoming a
"What?"
hobby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, 100%. Like, that's the biggest joke in the fitness industry. It's not like,
It's like where to make money.
yeah, like I just loved it. And yeah, I was teaching. People thought I was insane. Like, they were like, "You're teaching how much?" I'm like, but I was just so determined. Like, I truly believe the people who win are the people who work the hardest. Like, I wasn't the most talented in the area. I might have not been like the best instructor in the area, but I was the hardest working for sure.
And she's just really good at just creating an experience and just kind of loving on everyone and making everyone her friend and making people feel welcome.
Yeah.
I try.
What's your experience before? Do you have a college degree?
No.
No?
I have no experience.
No experience.
I don't have
So
shit.
it's
I
just those
graduated high school.
feelings that
Barely.
pushed you to
So what did you do
this.
before that then?
Oh gosh.
Before the fitness?
Everything. I don't even know.
Coffee.
What are some of them? I mean, we've all had
Oh
those
my
jobs.
gosh.
Like,
Yeah, I taught. No, what did I do? I worked at Chick-fil-A.
Uh-huh.
My pleasure. I taught at Chick-fil-A. I worked at Chick-fil-A for a long time. And then my family was super broke growing up. Like, we were broke. So it was like, if I wanted to like get braces or do anything. It's like, well, go get a job.
That was on you.
Yeah, and I was like, all right. So I learned how to hustle from like a really young age because
Started
anything
like
I
14
wanted.
or something.
Yeah, I started working at well, I did some stuff before that, and then I could start legal work at like 14. And so I worked at Chick-fil-A. I was their cow occasionally, stuff like that. And then when I turned 16, I worked at Texas Roadhouse for like a few years. I don't remember how long.
That was all in town here.
Yeah, and then I went and worked. After that, I graduated high school. I got a job at Java Express, and I made coffee for years. And then I actually helped open Dutch Bros.
Cool.
They're the best people ever. Subtle plug. If you're going to support someone, oh my gosh, best owners in the whole world. That's hard to find in the business world, but they're amazing.
Are they all independently owned?
So that's a franchise. Dutch Bros, you
So
have
they
to
have to buy that
franchise.
franchise.
But you have, no one can just come in and own a Dutch Bros. You have to work there for a few years and then you kind of get delegated.
No, way more than a few years. You have to
Interesting.
be
Yeah,
upper
but-
management. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Earn
a
it.
whole process.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're amazing.
You really have to adopt the culture.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to learn how to flirt at the window.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta learn how to jump in their cars, lick their dogs.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Essentially.
Yeah, and then after that, I was like,
Once you can do that, you're allowed to have a franchise.
yeah, exactly.
Without even batting an eye. That's the key.
Pretty much. They're like, if you can harass 6 cars in a row, you're in. You're in.
You've got persistence.
Your work ethic.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I did that, and then I actually worked at Ball Ventures as a secretary. That shit was rough, man.
Ball Ventures?
Ball Ventures. They are. They do like. They're like a corporate like.
Should we
big-
guess what they do, or should she tell us?
You're like, I didn't know that existed in Idaho Falls. I did it, and then I became
Saucy.
a mom, and I had to quit. But they're like actually like a really pristine like real estate company.
Oh,
Okay, sorry.
I
the
know.
option on your name,
I didn't
I'm
know.
sure they're
It's
great.
not a strip club.
I didn't guess that at
Unfortunately,
all.
I should start one called Ball Ventures. That
Okay,
would be
wait,
hilarious.
I've seen the signs.
Chippendale.
Okay,
type
it's the
style.
blue
So you've seen signs for
Yeah,
Ball
it's
Ventures?
the blue signs.
Yeah, they're huge. Like,
Yeah, you'll notice it now.
Okay.
yeah, they're
yeah.
I'll look
huge.
for it.
They're actually super fun to work for. I just learned I am not professional at all.
And they need that high.
Yeah, and they
Hi,
actually,
mucka
they're probably gonna watch this and be like, she sucked. But I think they liked me. I don't know. They were sad when I left. I don't know what that means.
Well, you left because
'Cause I
you got pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah.
About to have the baby.
But yeah, so I worked there for a while, and it was pretty fun. But yeah, I definitely.
So what were
was-
you
What'd you do
doing?
there?
I was just a secretary.
Oh, okay.
And I think my only job was to also like get everyone out of their shells because I got there and everyone was like so serious. And then one time, one of the main guys walked in. And he was like, I need you to make me a coffee. And then he texted me something and I sent him a GIF, like a really like sarcastic GIF.
Okay. Do you guys call it GIF or a GIF? What do you
GIF.
guys think?
It's a GIF.
It's graphic.
You're wrong.
G-R-A.
Okay. I just always wondered.
Facts.
Okay. Anyways, keep going.
It's a valid question.
It's a valid
Yes,
question.
that's
I'll,
time.
I'll
I'm a
still call it a
GIF.
GIF.
It's
Sounds
valid,
better.
but you're wrong. Anyway, so I sent him a GIF, and all of a sudden I don't know what happened, but they're like, "Oh my gosh, she's not very serious." So then it turned into this giant joke all the time, and everyone would walk in and they'd be like, "What's up, bro?" And I don't know what happened. I put a crack in the corporate world. I don't know what happened, and then I left, and now I think they're all boring again. But yeah, so I did that. Then I was a mom, and then in came fitness. So all over the place.
Yeah, but you had all that experience that kind of just snowballed into this situation that landed perfectly.
I guess.
A lot of dealing
I
with
don't know.
customers, it sounds like, and talking to just random people.
Yeah, like that's
Oh, yeah.
valid
Doing
experience.
anything in like coffee or all your other jobs. Just
Yeah, I guess. I've always been a people person. I love
Yeah.
people. I think they're hilarious. And so I guess.
I think it says a lot to be able to be chipper after doing jobs like that where you deal with people so much. Because we were in retail for a while, and it crushed my soul for a while.
Yeah, retail's different. Retail
So-
sucks.
I give you props for that.
I feel like that's valid. If
No
I-
one was hugging me and saying, I appreciate you
Yeah.
for showing
They're
up
like,
today.
thank you for the extra small. You're amazing.
Yeah. You grabbed that hanger so good.
You're like, these guys deserve a raise.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, that's valid. Retail's different. I was giving people their lifelines. So
Yeah, coffee.
I was a lot
And
cooler.
Chick-fil-A.
And Chick-fil-A.
All the
yeah.
lifelines.
Everyone loves a good Chick-fil-A moment. So yeah, that's pretty much all. And then in came fitness.
Yeah.
That's not how I own a studio. I don't know how. Yeah, no college degree. Fat
Well, that's
wreck.
great though, because
Yeah.
then you don't have that
No
debt.
debt.
Yeah,
You're
I
the
have-
winner in the
I have
end right
business
now.
debt instead, which is way more
Lucky
fun.
you.
No,
Yeah.
I would rather have that than some student loan debt.
That's true. Yeah, honestly, college was just, I hated school in general. Like,
Did you ever think about it or go at
Oh,
all? or-
gosh, no.
Yeah,
No.
you did.
when?
What did you want to be?
Oh shit, yeah, I forgot. This is gonna be funny. I wanted to be, oh my gosh, this is so wild. I wanted to be a cardiac, thoracic, and vascular surgeon. Could you imagine?
Some- very
small.
specific.
Something
I
small.
know, yeah, not a big deal. Something super small,
Not
maybe
10
a few years of
15
school.
years
Yeah, community college stuff, really.
She even got into school for it too, though.
I did,
You
yeah.
applied, did the steps.
I did.
Yeah, and then
And
she
then-
stayed for me.
Yeah. You're the reason I'm not successful. I'm just kidding. I'm just
I'm
kidding.
It
just
happens
delaying
for a
it.
reason.
Yeah, it was wild. I don't know. Yeah, I wanted to do that for so long, and then I realized I actually hated school like a lot. Like I'm
Yes.
not a book. I
How
like
long did it take you to realize that?
the fact that I almost didn't graduate high school. That was about it. I was like really like I'm actually pretty smart, and I like got good grades. I just like didn't want to do it.
Sure.
So I would just like never go. Like I'm like, why would I go to school? I was working like 3 jobs in high school.
Wow.
So I'm like, why would I go to school
You
if I
had
can
the
just work?
outside life already in your mind.
Yeah,
than
I'm like,
school.
bro, do you know how much money I'm raking in at the age of 17?
Yeah.
I'm like, screw that. Why would I go to school? It just like didn't make sense. Now that I'm older, I'm like, well, Jesse.
Like with your own child, you'd be
Yeah.
like, get your ass in school.
Literally,
right
I'm
now.
like, okay, well, Fox, if you're watching this 10 years from now, I did great in school. I graduated straight A's.
I think
Top
there's
of my
different
class.
kinds of education, but
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I just didn't feel like college. I don't know. I just didn't feel like it was necessary for what I wanted to do with my life. Once I didn't want to be a surgeon, I was like, well,
Don't invest all that money for
Yeah.
like, who knows?
yeah, what's the point? Honestly, I feel like, especially nowadays, it's like becoming so not necessary.
100%.
Like I'm like, I have so much experience, especially work experience, that I'm like, I graduated high school with like 20 times the experience than like people have at the age of like 25.
I bet.
So I was like,
I feel a lot nowadays. It's really just more about the who you know, your relationships with stuff. So I think our son Fox and our daughter Palmer, the only reason I'd ever really encourage them to go to school is just to build their relationships with people in college. You know, I think
yeah.
that's
Or if they like legally needed to go to college for their job.
yeah. That,
But yeah,
Yeah.
never did that thing. Neither did he.
It sounds like you were pretty like grown up at the younger age though. Like when I went to college, I was just like wild still. So I needed those 4 years to just like get myself together. And
It was a recovery period.
yeah, yeah.
No, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I did grow up pretty fast. Kind of had to. I didn't really have a choice. My parents were like, "Good luck, kid." And I was like, "I'm 14." And they're like, "Get a job." I'm like, yeah, "Okay."
And you guys both grew up in Idaho Falls.
Yeah, down the street from each other, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
What high school did you go to?
Did you know each other
yeah.
from a young age?
No, she moved here in high school.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
we met in high school.
Yeah,
He was obsessed with me.
Oh.
Stalked my every move.
Yeah.
But it worked eventually,
yeah,
obviously.
when she first moved here, that we were like in middle school or something like that. There was this conference that we all went to as kids, a youth conference, something like that. And she was talking in this weird accent, and we were like walking back to these cars or whatever, and she's.
It was an Australian accent.
Yeah.
I was like 13. I was fucking weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I was,
impressive at
she-
13, though.
I-
Australian accent is.
Thank you.
But-
That's also on my resume.
Since
Talking
she was
Australian
broke as a
accent.
joke, she didn't have a phone or anything, and she lost her ride, so she had to ask to use my phone. And I was like, "Oh, this girl's
With an
pretty."
Australian
With an
accent.
Australian accent.
So then she used my phone, and then it was.
That was it?
I mean, that wasn't. It stopped from there till like 6 years later.
Wait,
We
never
you guys
talked-
never talked again?
Well, I
No,
tried
he would-
hitting her up on Facebook, but she
I
ignored
got
me.
so many Facebook messages I can still pull up that I'm
That's
like,
so
I just
funny.
never
That's awesome.
replied. I was like, who is this kid? He would show up at my work. I remember he'd come to Chick-fil-A and he's like,
What?
give me extra Chick-fil-A sauce. And I was like, who are you? Like, I was like, no, what the frick? And then, yeah, you literally, like, my senior year, he came and did a theater class, and I was the head of the theater over there. And I was just like, wow, you're actually, like, kind of cute. I was like, huh, interesting. And then got married literally like 2 years later, so I don't know.
Persistence paid off.
Persistence, consistency, baby.
Yeah.
That's what helps them with business today.
Yeah, if you get kicked down, just
and
get
that's
right
how
back
we
up.
got to where we are today. Consistency from the age of 14.
So you have, was it your grand opening this week? Or what did I
So,
see?
well, yeah, I've kind of been winging the whole like thing because it was hard. When I bought the business, there were people that like were going to classes before.
So what part of the business did you buy exactly? Like, was it a building and did it come with like all the equipment and stuff, or like?
Yes. So I pretty much just bought what equipment was in there, and then she leased the building. So we just took over the lease.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so
Was it the right equipment?
for the most part, the bikes that we had are way more like performance, like at home Peloton type vibe. The type of cycling we need like pretty hefty bikes. So we actually are about to get our new ones, which I'm so excited for. And then we have another studio buying our old ones.
Cool. So you'll have like all brand new equipment for everyone then.
Oh yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, so that, and then there was this whole big room that was going to be turned into like a weight room in the future, and so, but it hasn't yet. So then we took it over and
we got shit done.
We got it all done. Got the flooring, weights. So now it's going to look like a whole new place to people. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So does it have dumbbells, barbells, like all the stuff?
Yeah, we do. And our rhythm-based strength, we only really got dumbbells because as a group, like if you have like the 40-pound like bar, could you imagine? Yeah,
flying around.
20 people with like this 40. Oh my
The amount of space just to
literally, it would be such a shit show.
Everyone would have to have helmets on.
Everyone's just ducking. They're like, I didn't sign up for a ninja class. I'm so confused.
Put your football helmet on and grab your barbell.
Jiu-jitsu's 2 doors down.
Yeah, so we only do dumbbell, and then we want to get kettlebells. That's another thing. And we have like bands and sliders and all the jazz because we also do bar. But yeah, when we bought it, it was really just the bikes and a couple speakers. Yeah. And we had to do everything.
So this vision that you're trying to create, is that from your California studios that you've worked in?
Kind of, but I've wanted this for so long. I actually, what's so funny, I am like a true believer in manifestation. I manifested this. I remember I was in California. I came here to get my hair done, and I was talking to my hairdresser. Like, I want to open a cycling studio. I was like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but like, I want to do it. And this was probably a year ago. I don't know. And I literally had my name already done, my logo. It's been sitting.
You had this decided.
I've already had it all done for a year. It's just been sitting. And I'm like, one day it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen.
For a live cycle.
Yeah. And it was originally Fusion is what we started with. But it's always been the flame. It's
that logo. You made that logo.
Yeah. It's just always been there. Like, it was always going to happen. And I didn't know how. And then when it happened, it was kind of like, okay, everything that I've had in my vault pretty much, just because I've had a vision for that place since I started working there. Like, I was like, we need a stage, we need this, we need that. And she loved the ideas, but just never got around to it. So when I got it, I was like, I know exactly what's happening. So we just whipped it out.
That's really cool that you could put your vision out there that you've been thinking about for so long.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. It's weird to see it all happen somehow. I don't know. It's really come together. It looks like a completely different studio. Everyone that came before and has come now, they're like, this is completely different. It's not even the same place.
Now it kind of feels like it has like an underground vibe. It's kind of cool. I don't know, like you're in a different world when you walk into there, and when you walk out, it's like, oh, it's light outside. Like there's birds chirping at it. It's kind of fun.
That probably felt so good to get that all actually happening after all of your years of thinking about this.
Yeah, it felt like my brain threw up. Like, it was amazing. Like, I feel like it was such a release of like,
that's so fun.
And we literally are like, had like weeks to do it. And I'm like, we better get our shit together. Let's go.
So did you decide on this opening date? Like, you didn't want to like push it out further. You were like, we're doing it in 5 weeks, and we're
pretty much like, it was like,
who cares if it gives me a panic attack
and
meltdown?
Ask me how my mental health is going. If you're a therapist, at me, please, because oh my gosh. No, it was kind of like people were waiting. Like, they had the studio before.
They want to go.
And they were waiting for me to get off maternity leave. Like, they're like, oh man, when Jessie's off maternity leave, it's go time again.
Yeah.
So I had this pressure in my head of like, oh my gosh, they don't know. I just bought the studio. I have to completely revamp
this hustle.
Yeah. And so it was like, the minute I got off maternity leave, I was like, let's just do some free classes, get word out. Because I love what I do so much. I was telling someone today, we just like kind of started charging for Just Cycle at a discounted rate, and I was like, I could have kept doing this for free. like without even thinking about
just
it.
loving
I
it.
just love
Mm-hmm.
it. And so I was like, let's just bust out some free classes. That gets people in the door. I'm like, let's do it for a few weeks. We open officially on Monday. That's when our
Okay.
website
And charged classes.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, let's just like get people in the door and they're going to become so hooked. Like there's
Mhm.
no way when we open, they're going to be like, bye, sayonara. And it's like brought in such a community. Like our classes have booked out every single week within like 24 hours.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. I don't know. I literally
That's
don't know.
crazy.
That'll be exciting to
Crazy.
see what happens with the paid ones. I mean, I'm sure it's going to
Yeah.
be great. It's
Yeah, like,
gonna
and
be a
then
fun
when
day.
I was nervous. I'm like, when we start charging, people aren't gonna want to come because it's
Yeah.
easy to fill a free class.
Mhm.
And then we started charging, it booked out even faster. And I was like,
Interesting.
what is happening?
Well, we were giving away free classes.
Yeah.
And then people were started asking, you can't keep doing this for free. When can I pay you? When can I pay you? You
Yeah.
know? And so
That's
Yeah.
good then that they were like, I need to pay you because it's worth
Yeah,
it.
Mhm.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was like, I don't know, it was
like,
just
oh,
really
that
cool.
means so much. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
like,
saying that.
that's
That's
awesome.
Yeah, it was
It's huge.
cool. And I think it's just like, it's not even the fact that people are like, I want to cycle. I think our vibe, you cannot get in Idaho Falls. Like
It's a hard thing to find.
It doesn't exist.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's like, if they ever want to do this type of cycle again, it doesn't exist anywhere else.
Mhm.
So for them, they're like, what can I do to like be here and like keep coming? And our community is so cool. Like they're the sweetest people. It's so cool to even watch like a new person come and just watch like the people who have been coming for the past like 3 weeks. They just like surround them and they're like, we're so excited you're here. Do you need help with your bike? Do you need help with this? I like can't even get to them half the time fast enough.
That's so great.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is just so dope. Like it's hard to find like a really close knit, like authentic fitness group. And I
Mhm.
just feel like we have already started creating that. And it's so
Yeah.
cool.
I feel like people come because the workout, it's cool and it's fun, you know, but I feel like they more come for the experience. Like it's just somewhere, a community that they want to be.
So where are you finding all of these people from the get-go?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I don't, half the time I don't know. Like someone will walk in and I'm like, oh, who are you? Like
Yeah.
I don't even, and they're like, you're Jessie. I'm like, how do you know that?
Mhm.
I have no idea. I think social media, because I've been building that for a few years with my fitness. And I think word of mouth has been a really big thing.
Word
Like
of mouth.
people just like love it and they just bring their friends, they bring their moms, they bring like it's just it's somewhere where like my big thing is like making people feel accepted because for so many years in the fitness community, I never felt that. I always felt like I was too much. I didn't look the right way. Like I always had everyone telling me about 50 reasons why I wasn't enough in the fitness community.
Yeah.
And we just don't tolerate that shit like at all in our studio. And I think for like the first time, there's a lot of people coming that are like, oh my gosh, I'm like good where I'm at. But like this place also makes me level up at the same time. But I don't like it's just such an accepting, cool place to be.
Mhm.
And then for them, it's so loving that way that they want to bring their friends and family because it's just got that vibe.
it feels like an inclusive space where they can
Totally.
be safe and be themselves.
Totally. I'm like, if you want to say the F word, go for it. If you want to say, like, I'm like, it's just, you can't, there's not a lot of spaces here that you can do that, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, if you want to, like my instructors, they're like, what's the parameters? I'm like, there are none. Do whatever you want. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like being safe and stuff. But they're like, can my playlist swear? I'm like, dude, we are having explicit nights
We're adults,
exclusively.
right?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't, like, if that's not your vibe, then that's great. If it is your vibe, I want you to do that. Like,
Yeah.
I want this to be a space where everyone feels comfortable, you know, regardless of what that is. So,
Yeah.
How do you deal with the people that maybe get offended with that music? Is it tough?
not really, actually.
put in earplugs or
Yeah, I do disclose it before. And
okay.
other instructors are probably going to be different, obviously. Like some instructors, that might not be their vibe, and that's totally cool.
Mhm.
Honestly, my vibe, I am who I am, and I've always lived my life so authentically, like to a fault, honestly, sometimes. Like I just don't sugarcoat things, and I'm not good at pretending. So I literally say before my class, I'm like, just so you know, I like the F word. And I will probably say it 3 to 4 times during my class. And I'm like, if you don't like that, you know, you can never come back. That's totally cool. You can go to another instructor, never come to my class again. I'm like, or you can just pretend it never happened to go to church on Sunday and call it a day, you know? Like, I don't know. I feel like, but it's cool because even if that's not someone's vibe, they almost don't care because they're like, oh, it's so cool that she's like being herself, I feel like I can be myself no matter what that is.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it kind of,
Get the ball rolling of like
yeah.
the self-acceptance.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's fine. You know, it's a word. We're gonna be okay. I don't go crazy with
Yeah.
it, but like, you know, yeah, we swear, we laugh, we cry, we literally do all the things in like 45 minutes. It's kind of wild, but it's so fun.
It's a roller coaster.
It
Yeah.
really is. You're like, this is so motivational. I'm like, the next song is "Make It Nasty" by Tyga, and they're like, oh. Okay, we were just crying, but let's make it nasty. You know, like it's cool. It's a whole experience.
Yeah. Jessie, she always tried to get me to do like her fitness classes or high fit and whatnot. I'm like, no, I do like
To lead a class?
no, not lead a class, just
Just
attend.
enter the building.
Yeah, in high fitness, and I was like, oh crap, this like high fitness. I'm like, this sucks. And I never really liked it, so I made a deal. I'll go to her classes once a year, and she's like, oh, thank you.
Once a year.
So-
Literally.
So I did that, and I went once a year, and I hated it every time. And she's like, so we moved back to Idaho Falls, and she's like, come take one of my cycle classes. I'm like, this is one of those sucky things that I don't know why people do it or whatever. And so she's teaching the cycle, and I'm like, holy crap, this is actually pretty fun, you know? Like, and at the end of the class, I was like, oh, I want to come back. When can I come back again, you know? But I just remember in the class, she just like made you feel so I don't know, you just got hyped, and then at the end she did like a cool down song, and she was just like, I think at the end she like just had us all like scream and kind of just let it out or whatever. And then she's like, okay, now I'm going to turn off the lights. You guys just kind of ride for a little second, just let your emotions out. And I just remember like crying. Like I hadn't cried for like,
Yeah,
I don't
you
know,
had
like
that
2
moment.
years. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
just like, holy crap, this like brought it out of me.
Wow.
I'm like literally
It's
saying,
just like-
you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've like literally seen you cry
Obviously-
like a handful of times in my whole life.
that's
I
so
know.
sweet.
But yeah, I hit it obviously, but it was dark, so no one knew.
I hit
but,
it.
yeah, you're
Yeah, so I was like,
Perfect timing.
Yeah, I just felt alive in there.
Yeah. Oh.
That's cool. It's like your classes reignite the passion in people
Yeah.
for.
Oh, totally.
I mean,
Feel
when you
seen.
try to do fitness stuff, like it gets exhausting after a while. Like
Yeah,
you just feel like
totally.
you're doing the same things, even if you are switching it up. So
And the results.
yeah.
I'm sure
Oh, yeah.
experiencing that and like feeding off your energy is really exciting if someone hasn't
Yeah.
had that in a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Didn't you say that yours was like a program too, that you had like,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So our strength, our kind of goal there is I didn't want it to be like just any other strength class. Like I wanted to people feel like I'm just a cheap person. Obviously I grew up with nothing. So if people are paying me money, I feel a really fat obligation to deliver. Because I mean, it's just, you know, it's not like I never want anyone to feel like I'm taking advantage of like them trusting me with that. And I understand it's a sacrifice for like everyone. And, you know, for your time, your money, like time
Yeah.
away from your kids, whatever. I understand that. So I'm like really, I was like, how can I make this strength like crazy effective? And I was like, you know, there's surge strength, there's other strengths formats, but I'm like, I want it to be like different and, you know, worth their time. So we do 4-week programs with our strength. So they almost get a more of a personal trainer type experience. So each week we're working on progressive overload, and we do the same workouts for 4 weeks. They might have like a little twist on it and be slightly different and various, and we do it all to the beat. It's all to the beat, and they got 4 weeks, and then another 4 weeks we start another program. So that way you're building upon your muscle and you're actually seeing solid results,
Yeah.
rather than every single time they come they're doing a completely different workout, and
Yeah.
they're not able to build upon the foundation that they're laying. So that's kind of like our big like thing with our strength, and you just can't get that
Yeah, that's
in a
really
normal
cool.
group fitness.
100%, because
So-
I have been to classes. I remember I would go every once in a while in like high school. It's like
Yeah.
Apple, and it would just be like a one-off class, like here or there. You know, like there was really
Yes.
no point or like
Yes.
I don't know, just gotta kind of go.
Yeah.
So that's cool that there's a program and like
Yes.
a whole plan.
Yes, and that's I just kind of wanted people to leave like feeling like, oh man, this like is actually working for me. Like
Yeah.
I'm seeing solid results from this. And so cuz you know, there are people that just want to come for the environment, and
Yeah,
that's
the
totally
vibes.
cool. But like why not also get results while you're having like a shit ton of fun?
Yeah.
And we really do. Our strength is like a whole different vibe. We played some raunchy music last week, and we just lifted heavy shit to the most raunchiest music in the world, and we were like this hits different. Yeah, this is a good
you can
time.
get it done
Yeah, it was so fun. I'm like, this might be one of my new favorite things in the world.
with all your friends, and
Yeah.
I can see that. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Oh, so fun. It's so fun.
I played football at ISU for a few years, and those team workouts were always like the best workouts because they would play just the worst music. And it was like the only place though where you were truly around people where it didn't matter how sweaty you were, like how gross you looked, you just didn't care. And like you always had the best times after or during those workouts compared to doing something solo. Or I remember trying to go to the gym after not playing football anymore, and I was like, you just people motivate yourselves. You just do this. Like this
You're like, are you just not self-disciplined?
This is crazy. This is actually kind of hard. Like, when you don't have someone telling you what to do. So.
Oh yeah, it's so fun. I know. I think sometimes people. So I always kind of hated that about working in a gym. They're like, Jessie, play the clean version. I'm like, no. I'm like,
no.
I know. I'm like, part of the best part of the workout is when they say fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, so what? Yeah. I'm like, what do you
ruin
mean?
the song?
I'm like, if anything, we're saying it together. We're not bleeping it out. And so, yeah, I was like, I remember when I got Alive, I'm like, oh, clean. Like, I remember I sent the playlist to one of our girls, and she was going to help me team teach it. And she's like, I listened to No Hands by like Walk of Flame or something. And she's like, it was the clean version. She's like, oh, we must only be doing clean versions. And I don't even know if I should say the next song, what it was on the podcast, because it was raunchy.
Say it.
I don't even, I'm trying to remember what it's called, but I like,
Sing it.
no, it was bad, you guys. It was bad. And she's like, I played the next song and she goes, oh, it's definitely not the clean. Nope, we're not doing clean versions. This is definitely. But it was so funny because it was just like when we played it in class, I was like, this is going to go one or two ways. Like, I don't know. And it started and everyone was kind of sat there for a second. And then they were like, yeah, oh my gosh. And I was like, this is the cool stuff, like this is when it was so fun. It was so fun. So yeah, we get a little. But we have everything. Like we had like a cool teen angst night, and we played just like all of your like favorite emo, like just like 3 Days Grace. Like people lived for that. We do rap. We do 80s. Like
that's one
fun.
of the coolest things I think is that each class kind of has a theme to it for the most part.
That's fun.
Yeah, and every class is so different. You're never gonna get the same thing.
Like Barbie, she dresses up at like Barbie, and I don't know what are some other themes.
Oh my gosh, I've done so many. It's not even fun.
And she'll
there's so many ideas.
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna do Halloween costumes?
Of course.
Don't even get me.
Best one of the year.
Halloween's gonna be a whole production. I have I have 3 playlists already. I started them. They're done by like last week.
Okay, I was just asking. So, what is this like idea process? How do you come up with all of this? This is so many ideas and playlists and.
Yeah, my brain's not the healthiest place.
Okay.
There's a lot going on up there.
Okay.
So I feel like I don't sleep a lot. I have a notes in my phone and I program everything. Like if I'm listening to a song, I use SoundCloud typically. Like it's like a third-party app where like anyone can remix anything and then you can just use it. And so I love SoundCloud. It's so fun, but it's cool because no one, if you don't use SoundCloud, like no one's going to have your music. So like people like tend to love to come to my classes because they're like, I've never heard this before.
I see.
I'm like, and you
That's
never
a great
will.
idea.
Yeah, it's so fun. And so I literally just like
and
listen
it takes a low level song into like a high beat song that you'd never listen to.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
You could never work out to.
Totally. It revamps it completely. And so I literally just have hundreds of notes on my phone, hundreds of playlists. And anytime I listen to a song, it goes into some folder somewhere. I lose my songs all the time. It's messy. And I just am like, okay, like now I'm at a point where I'm like, this move is what feels good. So I'll program it in my notes. It'll go into like my many arsenals. And then I just start programming it when I need to.
She never really uses the same playlist twice. She's like, I can't figure out songs. I'm like, go to your notes, find it from a year ago and redo it. She's like, no, I can't do that.
You're basically a DJ on a bike.
I really am. I should do weddings.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Well, it's so funny because people after every
Coachella
class, they're
on
like,
bike.
can I have your playlist?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, that's fine. And I'll make it public and they just go ham on it. But it's so funny. I get that every class.
You could make money
should
off
make
of
that a
that from like
subscribe
other
page.
like cycle studios and stuff. Like that'd be another way to like get some little content in there is like they could subscribe monthly and access your playlist.
I feel like I'm not good enough for that though. Like
No,
I'm like,
just do
my
it.
music's not that great. And they're like, that remix changed my
You're
life.
already being asked, so it's time.
You're already doing it. You just throw it out there, and
I
if people
know.
pay for it, You see?
extra money
No,
there.
I don't even
Another
know how to
stream
go
of
about
revenue.
that. It's like an OnlyFans for my playlist.
Exactly. Exactly though.
Instead of feet pics, I'm like, you want my tunes?
And it's at OnlyFans. And it's
Yeah.
just tunes.
It's just like feet pics with a bunch of music.
A little bit sus.
It's a little bit sus. It's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I love music changes everything.
Yeah, it
music
does.
changes
It does.
everything. So I'm picky because I feel like music can bring out things out of people that are like stored like forever. Like there's so many times.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's therapeutic.
It
There's
is.
something about it, and when we blast it, like it's loud.
She was just telling me we need a couple more speakers so we don't blow our speakers.
I know. I'm like, we need more.
Have your neighbors said anything yet in your building?
No, thank goodness. But when we
They must like the music.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
must be doing a really good job. He's like,
He's like,
wow.
"Alright."
Yeah, Jalisco's is right next to us.
Yeah.
And they're freaking awesome. We have a chiropractor, I think, next to us. I know he said something to the old owner. But like I don't know what to tell him. Like find a different practice. I don't know. You're in
Right.
it. I don't know what to tell you.
Start
Go to the
cracking to the
library.
beat.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
just be his elevator music, you know?
Yeah, Tyga and Drake. They're like, this is the best elevator music ever.
Yeah.
He's popping people to the beat. I don't know.
It's a new practice for him now.
A rhythm-based chiropractic.
Changing the game.
Right? That's so funny.
I better get a cut of that. No, yeah, I don't know. I haven't gotten any complaints.
Good.
Maybe people are too scared. I don't know. They're like, I hear what she plays. That girl is not okay. But it's fun. We have a lot of fun.
Do you look at other studios, cycle studios for influence, or do you just kind of do your own thing?
It's interesting. I feel like it's so funny because when I first started fitness, I was like always looking at like people in Idaho Falls. Like I was like, oh, this instructor's like so
Idaho
cool.
Falls.
Yeah. And I was like, I really thought I was a great instructor. I really did. And then what I learned when I moved to California is that I wasn't shit. I was like, wow, I have so much work to do.
Yeah.
And I am forever grateful actually for that whole experience and the instructors there because they were the best people. They're still some of my best friends. I still talk to like some of them daily. And they were so sweet in the sense that they're like, you're good, but sis, you got some work to do. And I felt like that was so refreshing. Like
Yeah.
I felt so blessed to be around people that like were like, hey, we love you, but like you deserve to be better.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like around here it was like, oh man, you're feeling classes, like you're good. You know, like there's one standard around
That's
here.
all you need.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
Idaho and Utah. People don't go outside of there to like get more influence.
I don't know why. Because we're like a couple years behind here.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And so
10
when I
years
moved to
behind.
California and I taught bar, they're like, I mean, you're fine. Like,
Yeah.
you're good. But
Uh-huh.
in California, or here, everyone was like, oh man, you're awesome. In California, I was.
Bottom
Bottom of the totem pole, yeah.
Start over.
And so I learned and elevated myself so much there that when I came back here, I felt like when I was ever going to get inspiration again, I was going to look at the best of the best, and that was going to be my standard. Like, there's
For
some
sure.
amazing studios in like Arizona, Seattle. Like, everyone knows them. Like Power and Flow, City, Seattle. You know, places like that. And I'm like so through playing small. Like, there's no way I'm gonna compare myself and like. Not compare, but like when I want to elevate, like I'm gonna
Like,
my
look up
standards
to.
the best of the
Mhm.
Yeah.
best. Period.
100%.
And I feel like people cap themselves so much, especially here in Idaho Falls. I see it a lot. People truly cap themselves because they are so used to this bubble. When
Yes.
it's like people around us, like there's just no reason to cap yourself. We have
No.
so much information on the internet, like oh my gosh, like there's so much
Elevate your
information.
business.
Mhm.
Push harder.
Absolutely, yeah. And I feel like that's
And being open to the feedback is huge. Like it seems like you were very open, and if you're
Yes.
not, then that feedback
Yeah.
doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
Oh yeah, take it and cry later. Like
Yeah.
that's what I did. I took it and I was like, "Thank
It
you
means
so
something.
much. You
Yeah.
like really helped me." And then I cried the whole way home.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
that
honestly,
self-reflection sometimes hurts a little bit. But
totally. And I asked for it. I was like, "Can you please give me feedback?" And she was like,
are you sure?
"Yeah, pretty much." And I was like, "Yeah, give it to me. I can handle it." And I was like, "Thank you so much." And then I literally cried the whole way home.
Right.
But it's fine. It's like it made me a better instructor. And like even I had a boss in California, and she could be mean, man. She could be really mean. And she cut into me one time. And I mean, it probably wasn't the best approach. And, you know, we talked about it. But she pretty much was like, you got a lot of work to do. And it was when I started cycle instructing. I was not the best one, but I didn't necessarily have a knack. But people are like, you're just so talented. I'm like, hell no. I worked hard. I worked hard every day. every single day. And yeah, she cut into me pretty good one time, and it wrecked me. Like, it wrecked me, huh? It was bad. And I was about to be done. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm done. This shit is not worth it. Like, holy cow. And then I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like, if anything, I'm just going to be better. Like, I'm going to show her I can do this. And it changed my whole career. Like, there's just so many moments where I'm like, that could have killed
that
me.
pivotal moment right there where that feedback like hurt, but you took it in and it made
was
you move.
brutal.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like, oh man, like you're off on the wrong foot, or like, you know, just make sure you do this better. It was like, honestly, like, she's like, people don't like you. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh,
and it was an hour long
of her telling you about
of just
the
ripping
details
me,
of this,
ripping me
Yeah.
to shreds.
Mhm.
And it was a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I can't like hate her for it because it changed my life.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's so many times, especially in business, where people are like, I want feedback, but like, I'm going to ignore the really harsh
They
stuff.
can't give you the truth.
Yeah. They're like, they're just being mean. I'm like, but are they? Are they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
100%.
was she was being a dick a little bit, but there
She's
was
not
a lot
wrong.
of truth in what she was saying.
Yeah.
And I almost quit. And then I was like, no, like, I deserve this. And so I just worked my ass off. I worked so hard. And we went to Hawaii for a week. I like took a second, I breathed, and I came back, and I was just like, we're just doing this thing. And it like changed. It still influences how I teach today.
Yeah.
Like, I in a way, I am really, really grateful for her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, will I ever probably do that to someone else? Probably not.
Yeah.
Not in the way that it was done
In a
to
more
me.
tactful way,
A little
at
more
least, if it had to
tactful.
be done.
But yeah, I just feel like there's been a lot of that in my career of like, then, you know, there's some petty advice like, you're too happy. I'm like, all right, well, okay, Karen, maybe later. But all right, sounds good. But yeah, I just think sometimes like I'm pretty good now. I love it. Now
Yeah.
I'm like, give me the feedback. I'm like, you cannot wreck me as hard as I was wrecked a year ago. There's just maybe. But yeah, like our instructors, when they come and take our classes right now, even I'm like, I need you guys to tell me what you like and what you don't like. And we did a strength class. It's my first time ever teaching it. And I was not great. Your first class never really is.
Yeah.
And we literally sat down after class, we were cooling down. I'm like, give me what I need to do. And they're like, I liked this, but I didn't like this. Let's do this. Let's tweak this. And I was like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Our next class was amazing.
Mhm.
It was awesome because we were able to like actually take in what they were saying and make the right adjustments. And so it's like, I don't know. I think business owners, sometimes you can get a little cocky. You're like, I did this. I know everything that's going on, but we don't know shit.
Mm-hmm.
And half the times the people that are coming in know exactly what they want. And so like being receptive to that for sure. I don't know.
You can't be too prideful.
No. Oh my gosh. I see a lot of that. Oh, I've worked for a lot of people, a lot of people. And I've worked with a lot of business owners. And that's like the biggest thing I see all the time.
Yeah.
Just pride and ego.
For sure.
And it's like, it's not even about you. It's just never even about them. And it's like, it's about the people you have there, your employees. And it's like putting aside your ego to give the experience that the people really deserve, you know, because you're not going to be perfect. No business owners, honestly, we don't know what we're doing half the time.
We're all making it up.
Yeah, we really are.
We're all
Everyone's
it up.
making it
I've
up.
learned in life, the older I get, I'm like, no one has any idea
one
what
knows
they're
shit.
doing.
No.
Yeah, we're all kind of dumb in a little
Yeah.
bit,
Mhm.
and that's great.
Mhm.
Like I never, even opening the cycling studio, I'm fully aware I'm the only one here that has been doing this. But at the same time, I'm like, that doesn't mean that there are things that can't be better that maybe I can't see. And so, yeah, surround yourself with people that are way smarter than you. That's for sure.
Yeah, 99% of the time I just feel confused. I'm just throwing mud at a wall, and I'm hoping that the more mud I throw, it sticks. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. It's just living on a prayer half the
Yeah.
time.
He's like, babe, tandem bikes.
He's like, hear me out.
All right.
And I'd be like, well, that's a beautiful thought.
Maybe we'll get you one.
Yeah. You will have your moment, I promise.
A bike with one of those side carts.
Oh my
That'll be fun.
gosh.
Bring your
Yeah.
kids.
Bring your kids.
Oh,
Kids
no.
cycling.
So for a business owner who's trying to get their business started, well, I guess not a business owner, someone who's an entrepreneur trying to get their business started, do you have any advice, takeaways that are...
Like I said, I don't know what I'm doing half of the time, but I'm a pretty impulsive person.
Okay.
I'll pretty much, if I have an idea, it's like happening. And I don't know how it's happening, but it's probably going to happen. Like, so I don't know. I think, and I feel like this is so cliche, and I feel like I've even heard it on your podcast before. People are like, just do it. But like, honestly, like, I feel like doing it and just do not think too hard. Like, you can overthink yourself out of just about everything.
Right.
Okay.
And there's so many times I like am sitting at the studio. It's like 9 p.m. I'm like washing towels. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like, did I just throw so much money, thousands of dollars into, like, I don't even know if this is gonna work.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Gambling.
Totally. And I'm like, and it could fail.
Mm-hmm.
But the crazy is, like, you have to find something that you love enough that even if it fails, it's okay. Because I feel like there's so many times where people are like, well, this is a great concept. This is a great idea. I want to make a business out of it. You're never going to last. You're never going to last in a concept that you are not loving and passionate about, that you can do in 24 hours, day in, day out.
Yeah.
Like, owning a spin studio, I am doing it all the time. I'm always programming playlists. I'm talking to employees. I'm doing 50 things all day, every day for it. If I didn't like Spoon, I would probably last another 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Right.
just no way. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys feel the same way about your photography. If you didn't love it, there's no way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's
absolutely.
no way.
You burnt
And so,
out.
yeah, like I always feel like I would tell people, find what you love and what you're good at, and then find a way to make a profit from it. But don't do something just because you feel like you'd make money at it. It's just, you can turn any passion into a moneymaker, especially nowadays.
Nowadays.
Nowadays, you can make money at just about anything. You can sell feet pics. If you're into pedicures, you can literally sell feet pics. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine 20 years ago, you told someone you could make thousands of dollars
That'd be
from your toes.
hilarious.
They would be like, yeah, okay.
I want
No
to see
one's
their
bought
face
mine
if
yet.
they saw that.
So
My lease got
speak for
suspended.
yourself.
He's like, I'm so passionate, and it just keeps flopping. I
I
don't.
just don't get it. I tried different angles.
I got a $50 pedicure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try putting them
I don't know what it
together.
is.
The hairy toes.
Yeah, it's the hairy toes.
People are into that. There's got to be someone.
That's what it is.
There's got to be
It's some weird
someone.
stuff.
So yeah,
She'll buy it. Sarah will buy it.
you have one subscriber.
One.
Make me feel good.
The profit from your photo business is going straight into that. The ego of the feet pics.
The feet pics.
No, yeah, I don't know. I see that, and I feel like we've had so much experience with that, like especially you.
The feet pics?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
just kidding. Yeah, our feet pics are soaring. His kill it. No, I feel like you've like tried to start so many businesses because logically it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like a lot of things because I've always wanted to just own my own business. So I'm like, oh, I'll try this. The money's here. Tried solar. I mean, I just didn't have passion for it. I made great money, but I almost hated myself every single minute, Every minute I was like, oh, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And so that's why we ended up moving back. People kind of probably thought I was stupid. I was good at it, but I just wasn't very happy out there. And so,
That's what's most important. Is
Exactly.
your own happiness
Yeah,
Truly.
absolutely.
in this life.
Yeah, you gotta find what you love and do
but
it.
I think a big part of like just being an entrepreneur is just like action. Like you just got, like Jessie's saying she's scared 95% of the time, but you just keep throwing mud on the wall. A lot of people just won't take action. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
consistency.
Yeah, just
Consistently.
do it.
and even like just people just starting out, I think excitement for something is huge on what you should
Yes.
follow and pursue, and just trusting your gut, trusting yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not excited about it in the beginning, you're not going to be excited about it 5 years from now. You're
No
just
way.
not. You're not. It's work.
And for it to be you. Like it's almost
Yeah.
like you now.
Yes. And when people glorify, they're like, starting a business, this is like, they really glorify it. It's fucking hard work.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is a grind. And that's something I was even a little bit, like, I've worked hard in my life, but I don't think I've ever worked this hard. Like, I am exhausted all the time. But I've never been happier, which is so interesting. Like,
Yeah.
people are like, I get every single day. I have a newborn. She's literally 9 weeks old. I've been teaching for weeks.
I cannot.
I don't know how I'm functioning.
I
half the
don't know
time.
how you're functioning.
But like people all the time are like, how are you doing this? I'm like, I don't think, but I know I'm so happy and
Yeah.
I love what I'm doing that it's worth it. Like if you don't have
Yeah.
something that can like make it all the sacrifice worth it, then like what are you even doing,
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love that.
Mhm.
And you're doing like the ultimate, being able to do it, like with what you said, and a 9-week at home, and like
Right.
you've been sacrificing since you gave birth essentially to get this place open.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's really cool.
It was wild. It was wild. Nothing like hopping on a bike in a diaper, man. You're like, I just got to do it. Something's got to happen. People are like, how are you doing that? I'm like, I didn't have a choice. I didn't give
Don't
myself
ask.
a choice. Yeah. It's like I had a goal, and it was like the messy that happens in between that goal is just what happens, but like it's happening. So
Yeah.
yeah, just don't think.
Just don't think.
That's probably bad advice. I don't know, but just you think too much.
Right? Because like once you realize all the things you have to do as your own
Yeah.
business owner, it's very like overwhelming at first.
Yeah, you gotta take it as it comes.
It's got to be like, you have to be able to use it in a motivating way. And
Yes.
like, I'm excited that I get to control all these things and not be like
Totally.
bombarded by all of the just paperwork and just the little things that come along
Yeah.
with everything, where
the
insurance
hours
is
of
just
meetings
like,
for
geez,
stupid
like,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh
just
yeah.
websites, everything. It just, yeah.
Yeah,
adds
it's
up so
tedious.
fast.
It's tedious, and it's expensive. You're like,
Getting stressed.
I know, literally. But it's like at the same time, it's like if you love it, it makes it so much easier to do it. If I hated
Yeah.
this and I had to spend hours talking about software, I'd be like, well, but like I literally sit down with my software company and I'm jazzed. I'm like, oh my gosh, that booking system looks so good. And I'm like, this is so stupid, but I'm so passionate about it that like I love it. And it's software. I don't care a shit about software, but I love that it's for my studio and it's for cycle. And I'm like, this is going to be so efficient for people. Like, yeah,
the vision.
the vision, man,
For sure.
being
I
able
love
to
that.
click a link. So exciting.
The important things.
The important things in life.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's all we have
thank
for
you
today.
so much
Cool.
for coming on our podcast
Thank you
today.
guys for having
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
It's nice getting to know you guys much more.
I know. I literally was telling Nals, I'm like, I'm obsessed with these guys. Like,
Oh, great.
there's a lot of photographers in the area, like a lot.
Yeah,
and I'm
there's
like,
a lot.
these are the best people. And that's why I feel like you guys are blowing up.
Oh.
And you guys are. I see you everywhere. And I'm like, it's because they're such good people.
Oh,
Like
we're trying.
full-heartedly. I'm like, they're the best people. And I think that's why I'm like, they're going to beat some people out, man. 100% just because of who they are.
Manifest it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's manifested. Say it here.
So I'm like, man, this is so dope that we get to like sit down and talk to them because I love you guys.
Oh.
that was
Thank
funny last weekend when I saw you at the yoga event.
I know.
Because I have been seeing more and more people now. I went to some high school football games to film
Oh, cool.
like a few weeks ago, and now I'm
Yeah.
just seeing all these people around, and it's like, hey, like,
Yeah.
I'm just
Everyone.
recording you 3 times a week. Random events.
My OnlyFans is
Ironically.
popping.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I think it's so cool. I feel like I was just telling
No,
them,
we
I'm
love
like,
to hear
they're
that, though.
they're
It's special.
everywhere, man. I'm like, this is awesome. They deserve it for sure.
Even
Thank
just
you.
the name Film Garage, it's just legit.
You
It's
like it?
unique and
Good.
I
it
love
kind of just
it.
fits your
Good.
guys' vibe, I think, and I think people like that.
Film
Great,
garage
thank
in the
you.
room.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
in
our
the room. I love it.
Maybe one day a garage. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Oh my gosh, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Ultimate goals.
Ultimate goals.
Yeah.
A garage baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, yeah. So we really appreciate you guys having us on here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
'Cause we
And
look
then,
up to you guys a lot.
oh, well, thank you. That's really
Yeah,
nice.
of
So
course.
make sure and everybody check out A Life Cycle.
Yeah.
Get on these classes since you can now pay.
Can they
to
sign
get a
up
class.
now?
Yes, yeah. So
Where do they do that?
They'll do that. So a live cycle is our Instagram.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to get on the Facebook thing.
It's so hard getting into all of them, but I need
I
to be
know.
better about that. There's more people on Facebook.
I know,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I haven't logged into Facebook in like 15 years, but
Yeah.
you know, each to their own.
We'll
My
get
mom
there.
loves Facebook. So, yeah, so we just have a website link. By the time this launches, we'll probably have an app as well that you can literally download on a
Wow.
live app.
Awesome. That's
yeah,
cool.
and you just
Cool.
go on there. You can purchase your memberships, class packs, all the deal through
Wow.
there. Book your bikes, book your class, all through there.
Is there going to be drinks and they can order a drink and then when
Yeah.
they get on their bike, they can,
What?
the
Yeah.
drink will just be sitting there for
Yeah,
them?
because
This
you
is
can.
extra.
That's
Yes.
so cool.
You can
Yeah.
reserve specific bikes. So like if you come with friends, you guys can all
What?
reserve bikes next to each other. And then like, yeah, you can add rentals, shoes, drinks, and it'll just be all chilling at your bike ready for you.
That's so
That's
cool.
fun.
It's going to be dope.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. for it.
Wow.
So I know.
Wow. Okay, everybody.
Is that
sign up for
something you came up with?
Cycle.
That's really cool.
No,
I
it's
love
our
that.
software company works exclusively with cycling studios.
That's
So they've
smart.
got all the jazz laid out for like
Cool.
the ultimate experience. Yeah, I'm like, oh damn, that's a really good idea. They're like, yeah, we
Like,
know. We've
we'll
been doing
take
this
it.
for a while.
Your customers will love you for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all are so
It's all about
smart.
the experience.
They're like,
Yeah.
it's literally our job. They're like, it's not that exciting anyway. I'm like, wow.
Nice
No,
button.
I know. I'm like, they're like, yeah, anyway. I'm like, they can do that. They're like, Jessie. I'm like, I'm so sorry. That's why our Skype calls are 2 hours. I'm like, you can do that?
Everything is
Yeah.
fine. Aw.
I'm like, wow. They're like, all right, shut up. I got other meetings to go to.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Toodles.
Thanks a life cycle.
Thanks,
Bye.
Life Cycle.
Guys.